Hey, good afternoon, Jefferson Spartan families. It's Mr. Carter here. Wanted to take some time to reflect here on the first couple of weeks of school. And I just continue to be impressed with the boys and girls in the school. They are doing an amazing job of getting back into the school year, getting used to the new protocols here in the school. And I am so incredibly proud of them for accomplishing everything that we're asking of them here in these times. So they're amazing. They're doing well, and I just encourage you, if you can find a way this weekend to maybe go out for ice cream or to celebrate the first couple of weeks of school, your sons and daughters, they deserve it. So we wanted to take a second here after the first successfully completing the first couple of weeks of school, and then just some items I wanted to take a minute to review with you. So first of all, I'm going to pull up something here on my screen. I want to take a look at the student protocols when it comes to everything related to COVID. So these protocols just changed under new recommendations from our state Board of Health. So everything up in the first week and a half of school that we were using has been modified moving forward. And what I will tell you, at first, it was a little overwhelming to look at some of these changes, but in actuality, I think in the long run, this is going to make a little bit more sense as we move forward with the COVID-19 protocols. So I'm going to move forward. First of all, masks are still a part of that. You saw that the governor extended the executive order that will keep masks in play for at least another month as being a requirement here in the state of Indiana. But this is what I really want to take a look at. And if you notice here on this particular slide, the symptom list for COVID-19, it's been significantly reduced as to what we consider to be a symptom that we would keep a child home or isolated from school. And that's what I was talking about. In some ways, some of these new guidelines or this guidance is actually it's going to limit what some of the absences would look like. The old list was significantly longer, and there were many students that were being sent home with allergy-like symptoms or other symptoms for other ailments that maybe were a COVID symptom, but might not have necessarily been COVID-19 itself. So here is the new symptom list, and you'll notice it is definitely reduced, and there are fewer items on here. So these are the items that we would use to send a child home in isolation for 10 days. So COVID-19 symptoms here. If a student would test positive for COVID-19, they are out 10 days from the onset of symptoms, and in addition to that, fever-free for 24 hours, and the symptoms should have subsided in that regard. If we send a student home because we suspect that COVID-19 is a possibility, they are out 10 days from the onset of symptoms if there is no further medical intervention. So if we don't go to the doctor or anything, just understand 10 days within that one. Here is the piece that I want everybody to see. This is the biggest piece of guidance that changed with the new items that came out this week. If we send somebody home, because they meet some of the symptoms here of COVID-19, we are also going to send home any sibling here in the building or any sibling in the district. So if your child here at Jefferson is sent home because they have COVID-19 related symptoms, your child at the high school is also going to be sent home. And that's a little bit different as we look at that. So please know, so if we do that, we send home a child here from Jefferson and siblings go with them. You probably are going to want to look at a doctor's appointment, go to the doctor. The doctor may do a rapid COVID test. If those results come back negative, your whole family can come back. If the doctor continues to provide that note that says negative test, not a COVID-related ailment, the entire family can come back then at that point. So you don't have to take all of your kids to the doctor. You don't have to take all of your kids to get tested. Just the one who's showing symptoms are what we would want to look at. All right. The other biggest thing that we would look at going along with just some of those protocols, is when somebody should get tested. And I really want everybody to see this one really clearly. Our local health department also agrees with this guidance that we're sending out here. So when to get tested. Number one, test the student that becomes ill with COVID symptoms. So if they're showing some of those symptoms, you probably do want to go to the doctor and take a look at that. Again, we can't require you to do that. It's just a recommendation. Number two, if somebody has been confirmed as a close contact, this means they were within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes and they are considered exposed to someone who is tested positive for COVID-19, you would want to take a look at potentially testing 5 to 7 days after that exposure. You might ask, why 5 to 7 days? And that really takes a look at the average of how long it takes somebody to show symptoms after they've been exposed. The average individual, it's around that 5-day mark. So if I'm around somebody who tested positive for COVID and I just find out about it, I want to wait 5 to 7 days to see if those symptoms are going to display in me. If I test right away, I'm probably going to test negative, and those symptoms may show up 5 to 7 days from now. Please understand that if you are quarantined because you were exposed to somebody who tests positive for COVID-19, you are out 14 days regardless of testing. All right, 14 days if you are exposed to someone who tests positive for COVID-19. Number three, don't test. It's not recommended. That curiosity test, it's not recommended if a student has no contact and no symptoms. So unless you are exposed and you know you were exposed, you probably shouldn't test, because if anybody takes a COVID-19 test, they are isolated from school until those results come back. So if there's a free testing clinic going on in our community and you just go, well, I just want to see, do I test positive for COVID-19? You are out until those results come back, and that's your entire family. So please don't go test if we're not showing symptoms and we don't know if we've been exposed. Again, if you've been exposed, that's probably something you want to look into 5 to 7 days after that exposure. But don't just go test to go test, because then we're going to have to give you a call and say you can't come to school until those results come back. All right? So that's the big piece that we wanted to update you on when it comes to COVID-19. The symptom list, we'll come back up here again. The symptom list has been reduced. Fewer symptoms on that symptom list. They're really tightening that in a little bit. So some of the allergy-related ailments aren't keeping your children home from school. The other piece on that that is new is that if we send home one child in your family because of the COVID-19 symptoms, all children are going to come home on that day until that negative test and the doctor clears the family to return. Okay? The other piece that I wanted to take a minute to talk about, we continue to work on our parent pickup system here in the school, because we want to make sure that we're doing it quickly, we're doing it efficiently, and we're also social distancing your children as much as possible while we're waiting for cars to show up. So we're going to make a couple of changes here to make that social distancing and that efficiency a little bit better. And I just want to warn you that it might cause us to be a little bit slower at first, but it's going to allow us to speed things up as we implement this system. So I want to take a minute. I want to show that to you right now. So we sent home in backpacks this weekend. We sent home yellow cardstock tags, and they look a little bit like what you see on the screen. And you can see my boys' tags are up here right now. So we're going to ask that you display those in our dashboard or on the dashboard of your car, because what we're going to do then is we're going to come through each evening, and we have an app on where we come in and we're going to scan. I'm going to scan one right now. So we're going to scan one of those QR codes that we're going to have placed in your window. And then what that does is you'll notice right here on the list, we're going to have inside the building in the classrooms a live Google Sheet that's updating. So I can see that I've scanned the code for Benjamin Carter. He's in Mr. Oberman's class, and mom or dad, they're in the left lane at parent pickup. This lets us know that we can go ahead and begin sending students down to be picked up. So what we need your help with is these barcodes. We need you to display them in your windows. So we're still testing this system, but we'd like to start testing it on Monday. So starting Monday, please put the barcodes in your windows. Now don't cut the tag in half. There are 2 codes, and those 2 codes represent the left lane and the right lane. Display the whole tag. We'll pick left lane or right lane. So don't cut it in half, don't fold it. Put the whole tag in your window. Please have the tags, because that's the whole point of the system, and it'll slow us down if we don't have the new QR code tags. All right. So we're testing this going into next week. We want to test the system to see if we can make it live, and we appreciate your help and support with that. The other thing that I would say as we begin to implement this new system is just a couple of reminders with our parent pickup system in general. First of all, we really request parents that if you're picking up your children via a motor vehicle, please go through the parent pickup line. We work really closely with Grace College on a daily basis. We share a parking lot, we share space here in the community. We're surrounded by Grace on 4 sides, but we have been asked over and over again by Grace College to keep car traffic out of their parking lots. So please do not park at Grace College and walk to the front of the building to pick up your child. We can't do that, and it creates an unsafe situation with bus traffic anyway, and Grace College has requested us not to do it. If you are picking up your child via a car, please go through the parent pickup lane. We're working hard to speed up the process, and we need your help and support to follow those protocols. All right. Number 2, overflow. If Maple Street is full, we did go over what that protocol looks like. I sent home information on that last week on where we need to overflow that traffic on Publishers Drive. You can find that on the Jefferson Elementary School website, or check out your emails from last week and you will probably see that as well. So I appreciate your help in those items, and we want to begin taking a look at those QR tags on Monday. Please have those QR tags in your window. You know what? Mom, dad, grandmas, grandpas, we appreciate you so much for trusting us with your children. We're so happy to have them back, and it has been an awesome 2 weeks here at the beginning of the school year. So thank you for your support, and don't hesitate if you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, please reach out to me at the school office, shoot me an email, and I'll do my best to answer and respond. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we'll see everybody next week.